Dhamma talk on the 16th of August 2002 by Chief Reverend Dr. Dhammananda Mahanayaka Thiru, the Chief Prelate of Malaysia and Singapore, on the topic Life After Death.
Reverend Sarada and other monks and your devotees, thank you very much for having invited me to come and deliver this talk. Although I had to give 4 public talks in Kota Kinabalu for the last 2 days. So I decided to come and participate here this evening because I won't be able to attend a special religious service, the Transference of Merit, that you are going to hold on Sunday, isn't it? The topic that you have given for me to discuss is an important topic because there are many things for us to learn about our life. People have their own imagination about the life. For thousands of years, they had certain beliefs, but still some people maintain. In the teachings of the Buddha, it is very clearly mentioned what is life and what is death and what will happen to that life after the death. Then he explained how death takes place. In his own language, he says, Ayu Usmacha Vinyana. There are 3 energies in our body, in our life. First energy is the karmic energy that molded our life during our previous birth. Our lifespan remains due to that particular karma. That is why some people die when they are very young, because the karmic energy is not strong enough to continue the life. Some people can live up to the maximum of the lifespan. That means they have accumulated enough good karma for their survival here in this world. So when that karmic energy is ended, there is nobody in this world who can stop this life. Life does not die. Please remember this. Many people think life will die. There is nothing to die in our life. Because life is an energy. There is nobody who can see a life. No one can see the mind. We take this physical body as our life. Physical body is the house. This house accommodated life. Then mental energy, karmic energy, life process settle down in this body. Then these energies use this physical body to go here and there and do certain things. Physical body cannot do any good things or bad things. Mind use the physical body. So physical body is a vehicle. Mind and the life and karmic energies are functioning. So when that house is old, decaying, collapsed, life cannot exist anymore here. So when the house is collapsed, the life departs. That is called death. But those three energies, just now I mentioned only one, karmic energy, for our life to expand. Ushna means heat energy. Among those four elements, heat energy is controlling all the other elements. As soon as life energy is separated from the body, heat energy, temperature also disappears. Then the third one is the most important one. That is called Vijnana. Many people would not understand actually the real meaning of this word Vijnana. Because in English we have only one word, consciousness. Simply by using this word, consciousness, we cannot understand what the Buddha wanted to tell us. Our mind is divided into four mental faculties. Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Vedana, feeling, pleasant, unpleasant feeling, the mind experience by using only one aspect of the mind, mental faculty. Sanya, perception. Perception means recognize, identify. That is another mental faculty. Third one is sankhara. This is a very big word. Even modern science, psychologists also could not understand it. One of the greatest psychologists has said, when we compare our modern psychology with the psychology that existed 2,500 years ago in India, actually we are still in infancy stage. That means psychologists also do not know how to analyze the human mind. They know only certain aspects of the mind. So sankhara in English we introduce as mental content, mental formation. People cannot understand the real meaning. Sankhara, after gaining enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, certain words came out from the Buddha's mouth because of the bliss that he had after gaining enlightenment. Few sentences. One is Visankhara Gatang Chitta. Now in my mind there are no sankhara. Then what is sankhara? Life after life, according to our way of thinking, way of talking, way of doing things, we accumulate sankhara. Mental habit, our nature, our character, our behavior, our attitude, our way of life, all these things belong to this. Wholesome, unwholesome. Mental attitude. We maintain life after life because of this continuity of this sankhara. By nature we have our own habits and we like certain things and we do not like certain things. But we do not know why. By nature. Now that is samsaric habit. Our nature. It is not so easy to correct or change. Now take for instance, one who is born with as criminal-minded person. Government try to train this person by punishing. Religions try to tame him by giving advice. Parents and relatives and the friends and the whole country try to train him, tame him, but still cannot. Still he is criminal-minded person. Inborn qualities, not so easy to correct or change. This kind of mental attitude that we maintain life after life, accumulating every day by thinking, by talking, by doing something, we accumulate certain sankhara. But we forget them. But never disappeared from our mind. So modern psychology explains that we have a subconscious mind. Recently, another psychologist discovered we have collective consciousness. That means they realized there is some sort of continuity in our consciousness. Earlier they never had this belief. So, in this word, sankhara, all our habit, nature, behavior, way of life are included. We have to use full effort and knowledge and understanding to change that mind if they are wrong. If they are good, it is not so easy for others to change their mind. Then, vijnana. Simply we say consciousness. There are 5 mental energies in our vijnana, consciousness. Avidya, Krishna, Karma, Upadana, Bhava. Avidya, ignorance, misconception, imaginations, wrong ideas. So we have more ignorance than any other mental energies. We can understand only little bit, but we do not know many things. There was a well-known Western philosopher, Socrates, in Greece. Everybody respected him as a great thinker. One day, somebody approached him and asked, people say, you know everything. Is it true? Can you tell us what you know? He told, I know only one thing. That I do not know. I know that. But many other things they know. The Buddha has mentioned earlier. If a foolish man thinks he knows, if he does not know, he is fool. Forever he remains as a fool. On the other hand, if a foolish man knows he is a fool, then he gets the chance to develop that mind. He is repeating what the Buddha has said. I know only one thing, that I do not know. But many other things they know. Therefore they don't want to learn. So this ignorance is very heavy. The mind is dominated by our ignorance. Our egoism, our pride, our what you call superiority complexion that we maintain, thinking that we know better than others. That is one of the mental energy in our consciousness. Trishna, tanha, craving. We have three kinds of craving in our mind. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Every living being. Kama tanha, craving for sensual pleasure, indulgence. People can destroy thousands of others to gain some sort of sensual pleasure. They can use cruelty, wickedness, any kind of dangerous method to gain some sort of indulgence or sensual pleasure. So our mind is very deeply rooted into this. Every living being in this world. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, craving for existence, craving for survival, craving for rebirth, craving for eternal life, also very strong. For our living, we can destroy thousands of others. This craving is how grave. Then, craving for non-existence. There is craving in our mind not to exist, not to live. Craving is behind. Take for instance, a young boy and a girl want to get married. Parents from both sides object. They are underage. They cannot register. Since they cannot gain what they wanted, they cannot tolerate. They decide to commit suicide. Crave not to exist. Those who are suffering from very painful sicknesses or certain worries that they could not tolerate, they also crave not to exist, to commit suicide. Some others think, how nice if we can stop our existence again. Because some people believe that this is the only life. After our death, there is nothing. They like it. This is called craving for non-existence. Not only human beings, some other living beings also have the craving for non-existence. A snake, frogs, thousands of them divided into two groups, attack each other, die few thousands. Recently we have read in Thailand, thousands of snakes attack each other and kill them. In certain countries, few 100,000 rats straight away jump into the water, river or sea and commit suicide. It is natural. Modern psychologists also explain this. Libido, self-preservation and suicide instinct. Every living being has suicide instinct in the mind. Now take for instance, when Chinese get fed up with something, at once they say failure. That is homicide instinct. This word naturally comes out from the mouth. So, whether we like or not, whether we believe or not, after our death, existence again takes place. We cannot stop it. Setting sun here this evening become the rising sun in another country. So setting sun is not the end of the sun, reappear in another country. So the death and the birth is just like setting sun and rising sun. So these three kinds of cravings are very active in our mind. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Then psychologists, just now I mentioned, also maintain they have three qualities, characteristic. Libido, self-preservation and suicide instinct. Libido they confine only to one particular item, that is sexual urge. Every creature, whether big or small, sexual urge is there. The whole world, living being exists because of that. It's not so easy to get rid of from this sexual urge. The Buddha mentioned this kama tanha, craving for various kinds of pleasure. But psychologists take only sexual side. Then self-preservation, protection. Many living beings have weapons by birth. Human beings are the only living beings who appear in this world without the weapons in the body. Now let us take snake. They have poisons for their protection. And dog and cat and tiger and lions, they have very strong teeth and claws. Therefore their protection. Birds, they have very strong beak and this can attack us. Even insects, bees, they have this thing to attack others. For their protection. But human beings, by birth, did not bring any weapons to protect their body. They have to use only their mind. The reason is, human beings are cultured. According to the evolution, the development has taken place among the human beings. That is why we are called Manushya, Mana, Ustanna. Mana means mind. Manushya means one who can raise, develop, cultivate the mind up to a maximum level. There is no another living being in this universe, in any part of the universe, who has developed this mind up to that extent. They have a mind. But that mind they can use only for their living, for their food, for their pleasure, for their shelter, for their protection. Beyond that, they cannot use their mind. By thinking. Even Devas and Brahmas, we worship them, thinking they are higher, far superior. Yes, they are far superior as far as worldly, sensual pleasures are concerned. But as far as intelligence is concerned, human intelligence is far superior to Devas and Brahmas. They also do not have thinking minds like human beings. Due to certain good karma, due to the development of their mind through meditation, they had the opportunity to be born as Devas or Brahmas. They experience very pleasurable, peaceful life by spending all the good karmas they have accumulated during their previous birth as human beings. But by leading their life as Devas and Brahmas, they do not create any good karma. They have no particular religion. Human beings are the only living beings who have a religion. Others have no religion. So, scientists have developed their intelligence up to such extent to discover certain energies diverted into nuclear weapons to destroy the whole world within half an hour. That is human mind. Human beings can develop their mind up to that extent. In fact, we are living on time bomb. Within half an hour, they can destroy the whole world if they blast all the nuclear weapons that they have produced at once. They say even the moon also will be affected. This is the nature of the human mind. Again, the Buddha, as an ordinary human being, he went on developing, cultivating, purifying his mind up to such extent to gain enlightenment, to serve the whole world, whole humanity. That is also human mind. Now see how we can develop the mind, how we can misuse this mind, and how can we use this mind. That is why Albert Einstein says, science without religion is blind. They do not know what they are doing. There is no religion to guide them, correct them, point out that this is wrong. Therefore they misuse. Today, whole world is suffering because of certain things that they have discovered by using their scientific knowledge. That is why human beings needed a religion. Others do not depend on religion because they follow the nature, natural way of life. But we have violated, we have gone against the nature. Because of that, we are in trouble. Religion is the only solution to correct, to adjust this human mind, to train the human mind when certain evil, wicked, cruel ideas appear in the mind, not to do this. Religion is the only solution. Now when you observe the 5 precepts, you recite Pāṇātipātā Vēramani Sikkhapadam. Sikkhapada means to train. I train my mind when this bad thought of killing appear in my mind, not to do this. That is the duty of a religion. If religion cannot do that, no point of following any religion. Religion is not for us to worship and pray and shout and sing, but perform all sort of rites and rituals and burning, all sort of things. Religion is to train this mind when evil thoughts appear, not to commit that, not to do that. On the other hand, when certain good thoughts appear in our minds, we must create strong determination, we must do this. This is the duty of a religion. If religion cannot do this, no point of following any religion. People are bluffing in the name of religion. Religion has become a big business. It is not that they want to train or develop or cultivate the mind. They want to collect more money by using the name of religion. So, now here this vijnana, avidya, trishna, we explain what kind of craving we have. Then karma. No one can live without creating either good karma or bad karma. Whether they have religion or not, whether they believe that there is karma or not, naturally they create good karma and bad karma because it is natural. Karma is not belong to any particular religion. It is a universal law. We create bad karma by violating the universal law. We create good karma by harmonizing with the universal law. The Buddha used the word dharma or karma for this universal law, not created by the God or anybody else. The teachings of the Buddha is called dharma because of this. He explained the existing universal law, how things come into existence. Why do they change? Why do they decay? Why do they disappear? and what happened to them after their disappearance. The Buddha explained, without depending on any God or any supernatural being. Since he has explained this universal law, his teaching is called Dharma. In the first sermon, Dhammacakka Sutra, Yang kinci samudaya dhammam sabbantang nirodha dhammam. Anything that which come into existence, definitely that existing thing is impermanent, change, decay, disappear. Nothing to remain in the whole universe. Sun and the moons and galaxies or universes. All these existing things are subjected to this universal law. They come into existence due to combinations of energies, elements and universal factors. But these things never remain forever without changing, without decaying, without dissolving. That is Dharma. So, karma also, as long as we attain Arahanthood or Buddhahood, we cannot stop creating good karma and bad karma. Since they have no craving in their mind, the Buddhas and Arahantas cannot create karma. We have craving. Because of that we create karma. Belief is not necessary. People say they don't believe, but it is natural. Then avidya, trishna, karma, upadana, attachment. We have some sort of attachment towards somebody or something. No one is free from this attachment. It does not mean that this attachment is bad, but that is the cause for our existence. Attachment is very strong in our mind. Then come to the formation, karma formation. When we are going to die, senses are not working with the mind. Thinking also stops. We cannot think anything purposely when we are unconscious. Senses are not working. That is the time that accumulated karmic energy start to project one by one, one by one. They appear, disappear, as long as the life is still remaining here. But before the last breath, the karmic thought which appear in the mind, the next existence takes place according to that particular karma. All the other karmas are behind. This is the meaning of vijnana consciousness. There is no another religion in this world where you can understand the nature of the human mind. They never talk anything about the mind. They talk about God and soul and heaven and this and that, but no any interpretation. Since they could not understand the real meaning of vijnana, consciousness, they used another word for that, soul. The word soul they have created when they could not understand what this vijnana or consciousness is. We can analyze and explain what is vijnana, what is consciousness, but they cannot analyze and explain what is soul, where it is. And then these three energies, karmic energy that given us to exist here in this world, and heat energy that sustain, maintain all the other elements, and this one, last one, vijnana. Vijnanam matukuchismin okkam. This is the same solution. This is a scientific interpretation. Why? Modern medical science could not understand at what stage the baby in the mother's womb, the mind originates. At what stage? When they were discussing, Albert Einstein said, mind must come first. The Buddha says, Vijnanam matukuchismin utkamanti. The departed consciousness, vijnana, from here, when it is transmitted, it must enter into a mother's womb. A test tube also can become a mother's womb for the consciousness to absorb. Nucleus of life started from that. So life did not start with metals or elements. Life starts with mental energy. Later, all the other elements and energies come and combine and build another one. Now we can understand up to what extent Albert Einstein realized this. On the other hand, he is the only one who mentioned that in everything, in his theory of relativity, that means one particular object cannot come into existence without depending on something else. That object itself cannot come into existence. Exactly what the Buddha has said in Paticca Samuppada. Dependent upon, it must mean sati idan hoti. One after the other going one round and again and again and again. So now scientists are slowly approaching towards the teachings of the Buddha. Because the Buddha has revealed the truth. No contradiction whatsoever with the teachings of the Buddha. The more they discover, the more they come nearer to the Buddha. So now the important point that we have to learn, what will happen to our life after our death? I told you just now, life cannot die. If life cannot die, why do we worry about this? If the house is old, if the house is going to collapse, why do we crave not to remove, not to move, to stay there in the same rotten house? Depart. Go and build another new and better one. Our religion teaches you how to go and build another better house by following the religious way of life. So if life never dies, what is here remain as dead body. While we are living, we have 4 elements. Immediately after death, 2 elements also disappear. Temperature and the wind, breathing, no more. Only 2 elements, solidity, fluidity. If you keep this for some time, fluids also disappear. If you bury this bone, after 50-75 years time, assume or dig, no more, turn into earth. Elements absorb into elements. But the departed life has no connection whatsoever with this dead body. These are only 2 elements. People say that departed person, soul or spirit come back and certain period and they are watching very carefully, or today he is coming, while watching and then suddenly a rat jumps to the, there he is coming now. So these kind of mythological beliefs people maintain, even educated people also still taking. Now I can point out another very important thing. When the coffin is going to close, family members are asked to watch the wall. Don't look at it. You must turn the face towards it. How they started this? You know, those days people strongly believed if people put valuable things into the coffin, the departed person gets them in the next life. So, all the valuable things that they have got here, ask the family members to look at the wall, they collect everything, undertakers, and put in their bucket. You are still watching the wall. Still you believe this. These are the things that we cannot understand. So, time can come for us to use our common sense, understanding, education, how things take place. But teachings of the Buddha very clearly explain all these things. So when it is departed, never return. Already started a new house, building. Punagehang nakahati. After the enlightenment, again the Buddha says, now no more new houses. Stop building houses. That means stop rebirth. That is the end of the journey. That is called final salvation. So, life after death. When Confucius was asked, more than 2000 years ago, is it true that who have departed from this world will be born again? Is it true? Confucius says, still we do not know the real nature of living ones. How do we know whether there will be another life hereafter? Because in Chinese philosophy, that belief was not there. Another person come and ask, is there anything that we can do for our departed ones? Confucius said, still we have not learned to fulfill our duties towards the living ones. What can we do for the departed ones? That is why 2000 years ago they have decided to go to India, having heard there is a religion where they can find the answer. It has taken so much of troubles and pains and difficulties to reach India from China at that time. then they have seen three religions. Hinduism, Brahminism at that time, Jainism and Buddhism. They watch how they practice these three religions. And they found out to practice Brahminism, Hinduism, Jainism, they must follow Indian tradition, Indian customs, Indian way of life. Otherwise they cannot practice that religion. But Buddhism is a universal religion. Universal means in any part of the world, people can practice Buddhism by respecting their own culture and tradition and way of life. That means they knew it is not necessary for Chinese to become Indians to practice Buddhism. Now we can see here Indians, how they practice their religion. Everything according to Indian tradition, Indian custom, Indian way of life. But to practice Buddhism, not necessary to follow Indian way of life. When Buddhism was introduced to China, they had no difficulty to introduce because freedom is there for them to respect their culture and Buddhism as a religion. These two join together, they practice. Few years ago, we have attended the International Islamic Conference. In their magazine, not magazine, their document, they have written, Malaysia was a Buddhist country up to the 14th century. When the Sultan of Malacca became a Muslim, from that day onward the whole country became a Muslim. For nearly 500 years, even the name of Buddhism completely disappeared. Then, when Chinese started to migrate, 19th, 17th centuries, come and settle down here. They are the ones again started Buddhist way of life in Malay. Otherwise, there is no Buddhism in this country. Later, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, other countries also come and join with them. Because Chinese follow only Chinese tradition. And when they associate and work together, they have modified and tried to practice Buddhism together, jointly. Some changes have taken place. Now let us come to this subject again. Some people say they do not believe that there will be another life or rebirth. Not necessary to believe. Birth is natural. Sicknesses are natural. Old age is natural. Death is natural. If anything happens after our death, that is also natural. Remember this. Not created by another person. Another person cannot create. Another person cannot stop this. It is natural. The Buddha, he has explained how rebirth or existence again take place. Therefore, people believe that Buddhism created this belief, rebirth. No. The existing natural phenomena, the Buddha has explained how this takes place. Just now I mentioned, our consciousness with those 5 ingredients then transmitted